Welcome back to another episode of Chaos and Recovery. Today's episode, we have Serina.
Hi, I'm Serina.
Hi, Serina. Welcome. Glad to have you here. Me and Serina know each other from our home group, and I don't want to spoil the story, but you just celebrated 1 year of straight sobriety and recovery.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Yeah, congrats.
Thank
That's
you.
amazing.
Yeah, that's amazing. Can I ask you how old you are?
I'm 24.
Which is 10 times fucking more amazing.
Yeah.
In my book, you know, because I tried getting sober when I was younger, like around that age. I'm like, I didn't want to do it. I always thought, like, how am I going to go out and have fun?
Right.
How am I going to go out and meet women? How am I going to, like, hang out with friends who, I mean, all my friends partied, you know? It's like, how am I going to go hang out with my friends? Like, that just didn't sound fun. And so I just kept drinking and using drugs. Yeah. So how did you get sober at such a young age?
Well, so I was basically given the ultimatum by my sister if I was going to continue living in her home that I had to get sober. My sister hasn't had a drink in 5 years.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Soon to be 6 in March. And she was just tired of my shit. Coming home drunk, losing keys, you know, damaging my car, and then when I'd be violently hungover and just complaining, like she didn't want to deal with it. Rightfully so. So she told me that, and at first I didn't drink, and then I met up with some friends from high school who were in recovery, and they drank like me, and they were both about 6 months to a year sober.
Yeah.
And they took me to a young people meeting, and from there I just, I stayed strong. I started building new friendships and everything like that. But yeah, I guess that's basically how.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Now, I heard a little more about your backstory before that. You kind of want to give us a little backstory of, like, what led you up until that point?
Yeah. So, I started drinking when I was about 12 or 13. I'm from Boston, and I went to a 7 through 12 school, Boston Land Academy. And I was immediately hanging out with the older kids. It was the popular, cool thing to do, to drink and go out. And that's like, how I just thought, what we would call it is who's get the run. Like, who's going to get the run this weekend? Who's going to get the alcohol? Who's going to, hey, buddy, who's going to stand outside the liquor store and ask, some sketchy person to go in and get it for you? And there was a lot of adults who would, say no. But then you'd get the sketch ball who would.
They would.
And that was how it went, yeah. So I started young. And my father, he hasn't had a drink in 32 years, I believe. Yeah.
Amazing.
So I was raised in, my parents were divorced. I had a father who didn't drink and in the program, and I had a mom who still drinks or did drink. And I would just try to bend the rules and push the limits, and he would lock me out, and there wasn't any serious repercussions in my teenage years. So I just kept going. And once I hit college, I got some freedom that I wasn't used to.
Yeah.
And I was, focusing priorities all on the wrong things.
Yeah.
Worried about drinking, worried about smoking weed. And like day drinking is a big thing in college. So there was that. And then
Where did you go to college?
I went to Framingham State.
Okay.
Love that place. Very small.
Framingham, New Hampshire?
No.
Mass.
Mass.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I went to Dean, so a couple of my people are
nice.
from that area, and
Yeah.
Birmingham. Yeah.
So I actually, this college is when, the repercussions started happening. I had played soccer my whole life into college, sort of. I didn't try out my freshman year, and then COVID hit, and then I did try. And during preseason, before I knew I was on the team, like when it was just, everybody doesn't know who's on the roster yet, there was like a party. And the next day was captain's practice. And at this point, I was like sophomore, junior-ish. So I was informed that, it's just for the freshmen to go. Don't worry about it, blah, blah, blah. So I got drunk and I didn't go. And they did a 3-mile run that day. And so somebody told my coach. And, the next time I showed up to practice, I lied. And I was like, I had to help my grandma. My grandma lives in South America. And at the time, she had fallen. And she had to come to the States for surgery. And I'm like, I was helping her book a flight and blah, blah, blah. And I woke up late. And I just kept lying and lying. And so at that point, she said, I don't think you're built to be at the collegiate level, and just didn't let me be on the team. And so I was really upset about that, and that happened. And then I tried out the next year, and I made it. But then I broke my toe. So then I was like, all right, whatever. Like, I can't even play. So I just started drinking. I was going to parties on crutches. Yeah. Like, what the hell is wrong with you? Like,
hell yeah.
The fuck? And there was, I don't know if it was the hockey house or the baseball house, but they wouldn't let me in. And I was pissed. I'm like, I'm on the soccer team. Can't you see me? Like, I'm on crutches. And then, like, I had a whole hissy fit on their lawn. I threw my boot. I'm fucking drunk. I'm acting a fool. So, yeah, that happened. I ended up, recovering and playing in the last few games. But, and then there was... The blackouts always happen.
Why didn't they let you in the house? Were you a problem?
She threw the boot. Like,
I don't know why.
Obviously, not fucking with her.
I didn't know them like directly.
Yeah.
But I knew like my captain was in the house, and I'm like calling her, trying to help her get me in. But I don't know if I was liked. To be honest, I probably wasn't. I thought I was, like, in my head, that alcoholic brain, like, everyone loves me. I'm a soccer girl, like, So, yeah, but keep in mind, the blackouts were always happening. Like, as soon as I started drinking, like, Four Loko in the woods, 14 years old. Yeah. You know what I mean? Waking up the next day, there was a huge, like literal, like, what's it called? Like a cut on my neck, like, because I was in the trees and I got fucked up by the trees. And so little things like that would happen, bruises, Yeah. And so, fast forward the next year, I make the team, whatever. And then I got a concussion, go figure. And then my friend committed suicide on campus. Mm-hmm. And that was hard for me. It was hard for the entire campus. I mean, like, she was very, very loved, and she was on the dance team, and she was just,
Was she on the soccer team too?
She was not, but her best friend was on the soccer team with me, who I was bestied up with as well. So, it fucked the campus up, and I just kept drinking. Yeah. I kept drinking, and I would go to parties, and then I would... get so drunk, and then I'd start crying about it and whatever, and it's just like I just had no ability to regulate emotions at all. And that fall, after that happened, I ended up getting kicked out of my father's house, and that was just over differences in political beliefs and whatnot. And then I moved in with my mom, the drinker. So she would go to the liquor store and get her little 6-pack, and she would get me my 6-pack. And, if I would go out and be really drunk and spend the night somewhere and then come back, she didn't really care. I mean, she'd ask, like, where I was at and whatever, but I was kind of just able to do whatever I wanted. Yeah. So I had a job at the Natick Mall because I went to school in Framingham, but my mom lived in Walpole. And I was still scheduled to work some shifts during, like, that winter break. But, I was going out and whatever, and I got drunk, and I'm like, fuck them, I'm not going back.
Yeah.
There was so many jobs that I just no called, no showed, never showed my face ever again because I was too hungover the next day to get up and go.
Yeah, hell yeah.
I remember like when my cousin graduated college on time. I was a year late, so we're the same age, and he went to Amherst. And so I went to his graduation, and then I stayed out there because he had a house. And
Amherst wild.
yeah,
Right? Yeah.
we
it's
went.
one of
At
the
this point, we were
wild
21,
ones.
so we were able to go to the bars without a fake and whatever. And I got so drunk, I lost him at one point. I'm with random people, like crying, trying to find him. And then I lost my phone. And then I woke up the next day. I'm like, oh my God, I had a job at the time in Natick, another job that I actually genuinely liked. It was working with dogs in a kennel. I could have easily called them on another phone or, said something. But I'm like, no, too much shame, too much. I'm hungover. I'm in my own world. Never showed up again.
Sure.
Yeah. So that was happening a lot. The blackouts were happening a lot. And then,
Let me ask you a question before you continue. The blackouts.
yes.
Was there any, like, especially in your, like, teenage years when this was all starting to happen, were any of the blackouts, like, alarming? Besides the, what the fuck did you do last night? Was it like, wow, this is not right?
Well, yeah, I would say. I would say about 10th grade. So about 2 years into my drinking.
Okay.
The Patriots won the Super Bowl 2017. And I was skipped school. That's what everybody did. And went to the parade, and I blacked out there, but I don't remember anything. And so I guess I pissed my pants. I ended up at South Station, and I was yelling at police officers.
Oh, yeah.
And so at the time, my mom was engaged to a Boston police officer. And so I was name dropping and fuck you and blah, blah, just being a fucking mess.
Yeah.
And so they ended up picking me up, and I have a video. My mom was recording me, and so she had to take me home. And
you don't remember any of
I don't remember any of it.
Yeah.
And she had to bathe me because I pissed my pants.
Sure.
And then as soon as I came to, my parents were divorced. So some days I'm with my dad, some days I'm with my mom. This was a day that I'm with my dad, the sober one.
Ooh.
And I'm fucking freaking out. I'm like, oh my God, whatever. He never found out.
Okay.
I told him later in life, but
Yeah.
he didn't find out, whatever. But I would say that was one of the first alarming. And then also the story when I got the huge slice on my neck. And that was 14.
Right.
That same, my mom's fiance had picked me up that day too.
Oh, yeah.
So I was kind of getting bailed out because I had, a little bit of privilege. I had, someone in my family who was a police officer.
Sure.
Was able to save my ass. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I would say those two situations come to mind. Yeah.
Okay.
But I always knew I just kind of thought I just need to handle it. I just need to go at a slower pace, mix in some waters, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But every time that I was drinking to get fucked up.
Yeah.
And if I'm controlling it and I'm mixing in these waters, I'm not having fun.
Right.
So.
Yeah, the reason I asked that is I used to black out a lot too.
Yeah.
If I wasn't using drugs also, like cocaine to balance not blacking out, I would usually always black out. And I never really gave it much thought. I was like, fuck, what did I do last night? Who did I text? Who did I call? That's what I was more worried about. You know, I wasn't worried about, do I have a problem?
Yeah.
You know, it was just always, all right, maybe I won't drink tonight. And then by 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock the next day, I felt a little better after being hungover. And then I'm like, all right, how do we start this again?
Right. For me, though, I was never what did I do? What did I say? I'm calling my friend or whoever I was with, and I'm laughing about it.
Right.
And it was exciting to me.
Yes.
I did that.
Yes.
What else? And I kissed you last night. You know what I mean? What the fuck? That's
there was
not
almost
cute.
validation in how crazy you are.
Yeah.
You know? Because my search was always for validation from other people. So if I was accepting of the validation of how crazy I was, and people like, oh my God, you can't believe what you did last night, blah, 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 blah. And I would wear it as a badge. I'm the party guy. I'm the one that's going to turn up and either fuck shit up or we're going to have a great time.
Interesting. I always had a different experience anytime that I've blacked out. The amount of shame that I felt was I hated myself.
Yeah.
But usually if I got to that point where I blacked out and felt that way, something had gone very wrong.
Yeah.
So.
Like what? You've done something really wrong? Or?
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The time that you picked me up from the Holiday Inn. Remember that one? No. Jefferson Boulevard? That was my first alarm.
Okay.
I mean, I never share like my kind of stories here, so I'll share this one quick.
Yeah, let's hear it.
But I had mixed way too much. I was much younger. I want to say maybe in college years, but I was whatever. I was around here, had gone somewhere, drank, mixed a lot. Got in my car, and I realized that all of a sudden I was like, oh my God, I'm almost in Connecticut. I'm going the wrong way. And then I turned around and drove all the way back, and all of a sudden was like, my car doesn't work. And I had run out of gas on the highway completely.
Whoa.
Oh my God.
So I pulled over, and it was like I was at Jefferson Boulevard at this point. So I pulled over and just started walking on the highway. And I made it to the Jefferson Boulevard exit, and I got off and went to that Holiday Inn.
Yep.
And I remember I was obviously down bad at this point, and my phone was, I could only use my phone connected on Wi-Fi.
Okay.
So I didn't have cell service for some reason, didn't pay or something. And so I go in the Holiday Inn, and I'm like, can get myself together enough to remember asking the guy, I was like, can I use your Wi-Fi? And so he got me on Wi-Fi, and I went into like where the breakfast, continental breakfast is, sat at one of those tables. And I remember I was hitting him up, and I was like, you have to come get me. I'm at this Holiday Inn. Like, I don't have a car. I have nothing. Like, I have to stay here. I don't have any cell service. And next thing I know, I remember nothing, and I wake up to families all around me having continental breakfast, and my head was just like on the table, and I woke up, and I was just like, what the fuck? And like literally families are just like at the buffet, like looking at me like, what the fuck? And this guy was just like standing there, and he's like, you have to go. I don't know why the fuck he was letting me like sleep there with my head on the table.
Yeah.
But he's like, you gotta go. And so I walked out the building, puked my brains out. And you had like been hitting me up like crazy by this point, and you're like, what the fuck is going on? And I was like, come get me here. And you were there within 5 minutes, and you were like laughing your ass off. And I was just like, no, like, you don't get it. Like, this was not a good situation.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then we had to find my car. They had towed it somewhere off the highway.
Yeah,
Oh my God.
I had to get gas. It was just like one of those like nightmares. Like, what did I do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyways, but anytime that I ever got in that, like, it was never, I guess, like, I don't know, nobody ever called me and they're like, you were fun last night.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck happened to you, kind of thing.
You were also an angry blackout.
Well, this is what I wanted. This is what I wanted to touch on. Was you said, like, you threw in there like no emotional regulation at all.
Yeah.
And that stuck out to me like crazy, because there is definitely this tie to like being, I have a similar like drinking story start as you, and like the friendship, for all of that stuff sounds really similar. Like, we would just like, what's the deal? Where are we going? All the time. Who's getting the packy? Where are we drinking? Is it in the woods? Is it at somebody's house tonight? Is it in the car? Is it, we gonna go on this dirt road and pull off and have a party? Whatever, anything. And I think when you start drinking at such a young age, and you find like, you just it kind of snowballs, and you just keep doing it. It's like what you know, like that's what your friends are doing. That's what the party scene is. You go off to college, like this is what we're here for. And I am somebody that I'm 36, and like the past, I would say 8 to 10 years of my life is when I've been breaking open like all of my self-work and emotional regulation, and realizing even more very recently, like how much of a toll that has had on me, like not understanding how I do emotionally regulate, and how it just never was even an option or an awareness. And I think like in
while
women
living that kind of party lifestyle.
Yeah, I think it's just something when you go from a young age, when you go from living your whole life in childhood and getting all this information in and dealing with your own traumas, whatever this is, you know, you don't have any awareness about it, or like need or ambition to like, oh, how can I take care of myself? You go right into like meeting friends, and then into the party stage, if that's the way your life
Sure.
unfolded. And so there was no in between to grow up and start gaining those new parts of yourself.
Yeah.
Specifically speaking to you and for me, like as a young woman, like everything's changing for you. You know, you have all these new friends. You're in like this whole guy world or relationship world, and it's just like you're in school, you're partying, you're trying to keep up, you're on this team, but like it's just like you're in a fucking another universe, and you never caught up with like the stuff that matters, like emotional regulation, and our bodies and hormones are changing, and how do I self-soothe, and how do I view everything. And I think that fucked me up for many years, where it's like now I'm catching up with like the maturity of who I am. And long story short, when I would drink heavy, like the rage fucking comes out, because all that displaced like emotional the sadness comes out. Everything that I've been strong about is now like I give no fucks. It's just like that blinder went off, and that's what drinking does in many different ways for a lot of people. It's just like now I don't have to think about all those things or harbor them or hold them or deal with them. It's just like they're here now for everybody. Yeah. So anyways, can you touch more on that in your experience? Because I think that was interesting that you threw that in there. The emotional regulation part of it.
Well, I'll fast forward a little bit. So I ended up losing my mom last June.
So sorry.
And so, thank you. But that was a big moment for me. You know, I was drinking, I was prioritizing whatever. And so I feel like I was an adult child in every sense, financially, mentally, emotionally, all those things. And so for a little bit, I was trying to drink. I knew every time I drink, I got sad, though, because I'm sad already about losing my mom. And I know that once I get fucked up, I'm going to get more sad. But I just kept doing it, you know, because that's all I knew. That's all I knew. I mean, I was familiar with going to therapy and stuff. Like I would do counseling here and there, but I wasn't, I'm not putting in that hard work because I'm just taking the easy route. I'm just finding, alcohol was my solution. And so that was a big part of my story that I can think of, that like
for sure
emotional regulation, a lot of when it comes to death. I think when I lose people I love, or even, I had a couple pets with my ex. One of them got ran over by a car. And it's just like, immediately, I think we went to go roll up a blunt. Like, no, that's like, not what you need in that moment, but that's all you know. You know what I mean? And those hard emotions of like grief and sadness, you just don't want to feel those things.
No,
you want to numb it out. You want to escape it.
Especially when it's a habit. That's my habit of processing, is that route, rather than actually feeling the honest feelings. It's tough.
It's overwhelming for sure.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And also I would say with my regulating my happiness, when I think to when I graduated college, I was so happy. Like I have this big achievement, right? I was sneaking nips in, or like it was like 9:00 in the morning. I'm taking McGillicuddy nips, and my mom's looking at me crazy, and I'm like, what? Like, and then I'm hitting my dab pen. I'm like, big day. Like, let me get fucked up. Like, dude, just enjoy the fucking moment. Live in the moment. I couldn't live in the moment because I thought that I had to do everything, intoxicated.
With that help,
Like, it's fun for sure, but like looking back at it, like now I'm just like, I wish I could have just been present more. But that was all I knew.
Absolutely.
I can relate to that a lot, because every time there was something good or big coming up, I always thought, how are people going to have all these people that are having fun at these events, whether it be a wedding or a party or anything like that? How are they all have to be drinking and doing blow? I constantly thought that. I was like, everybody has to be drinking and doing blow. How are they having fun, enjoying themselves, dancing, and not being fucked up? And so like I was like, that's how I justified it though. So like every big event, I was like, I have to do this. Everybody else is doing it.
Yeah, no,
and I want to get started early too.
you bet your ass.
We gotta pre. And do you think it's just conditioning from what we started to experience at that young age? Because it's like, in my head, I want to say, oh, we didn't, because you didn't experience those things before drinking and drugs were involved. But it's like, well, you went to school dances when you were a little kid. You went to like family events. You weren't drinking.
I thought it was part of growing up. Like this is what
we do
grown-ups
now.
do. This is what you do.
Yeah.
I didn't have a different world to compare it to.
Yeah.
I only lived one world where all of my friends drank and did drugs. And the ones that didn't really didn't want to hang out with me anymore as more I got drink. So I didn't know what they did.
Yeah.
You know? So I stuck to that demographic of people. And so that's all my perception could see.
Yeah.
Same.
And so I was used to it.
And the people who weren't doing those things, I automatically was like, they're fucking boring.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to
course.
be around
They're
them.
just sitting there.
Like, dude, I was like 17 in high school. Like, you don't need to be stoned in class.
Oh, yeah.
Or you don't need to, like, try to figure out how you're going to get fucked up after prom and just enjoy the prom.
Yeah.
No.
Always planning for the
Always
next
planning.
year.
Always planning.
Yeah, it's actually crazy.
But we didn't know that you could enjoy it without doing those things.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if I went to prom not fucked up, I wasn't going to have fun. Right. And that might have been true because I was used to drinking. Mm-hmm. That was my fun. So, like, if I went to an event and I wasn't at least high on weed, like, this is going to be boring as fuck.
Yeah, it's a terrible thought. It's fucked up.
It is.
Yeah.
Granted, I had some fucking fun drinking. It was a lot of fun had.
Yeah.
You know? But
it's how do you tap into those parts of you that are that alive on the outside,
right,
without being overly fucking alive, you know, like on the table, being the fucking whole like egomaniac of the party and being down for whatever, you know, like you can still find that aliveness, but that's the difficulty. Like we never learned to find that aliveness outside of childhood.
Well, that's why I gave her so much credit getting sober at such a young age, because that was my only thought. Like, how am I going to fucking have this type of fun while being sober?
Yeah.
In my mind, impossible. And maybe it is, but it's a different type of fun.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I still personally, I have a very tough time getting excited for anything in my recovery because I was a big drug user. So methamphetamines, coke, crack, all of those things raise your dopamine level at such extreme heights. Mm-hmm. So now that, and it's never regulated. So now when you get sober, all that dopamine is used. It's like an envelope that it's been filled here. And regular dopamine can only touch like right here. So like nothing is fucking exciting. And I think a lot of the times when I tried to get sober in the past years, I was craving some excitement.
Yeah.
Some exploration of stepping outside of myself because I wasn't receiving the enjoyment I was receiving while high.
Yeah.
And so I craved that, and I relapsed so many times because of it. Mm. And I'm still having very tough time, almost a year sober, of being excited for like anything.
Yeah. So what do you transmute that into, that awareness, like knowing I'm not super excited about that? Like, what does your the brain process go through? Like, is it something like, I get to be here, present?
Well, I'm just convinced now that this is a long-term game. Eventually, things will regulate. My dopamine levels will regulate. But I never wanted to give it time. You know? I've never been patient with my recovery. Like, I'm okay with being right here for as long as it takes me.
So it's just an okayness, a contentness in where you're at.
I'm convinced I want to be in recovery.
Yeah.
When before I was convinced that I needed these highs.
Yeah.
These highs, you know? And, like, it's going to work out. You know, just get through today. It's going to work out. Get through today. We'll worry about tomorrow. Just being convinced that I want to be sober today.
Yeah.
And after going through so much pain, it's easier and easier to convince yourself that you want to be sober. You know?
Yeah.
I want to hear about after your mom passed away.
Okay.
Because that must have been, while still using, a very difficult time for you.
Yeah. So she passed in June. I got sober in November. So there was, how many months is that? 4 or 5? Something like
5.
that?
Yeah.
5.
I
Yeah.
had to use my fingers.
So I was trying to still upkeep that lifestyle. At her, we didn't have a wake or funeral because she was cremated, but we had a celebration of life that we put photos and played music she liked, and at a certain point we asked people to come up to the microphone and tell some stories, whatever. And so I was getting it fucked up. I was mixing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was taking shots. I was having mixed drinks, like when I was smoking. And so it got to the point where I don't know why or well, here's the thing. When we were going through photos and stuff before the service, we found my parents' honeymoon pictures in Aruba. So I never knew that they honeymooned in Aruba. My dad got remarried in 2022, and the wedding was in Aruba. And I went. All my siblings went, and my mom was home alone. And after, finding that out and thinking about it, I just got so sad. I got so sad. Like, I just got sad, and I got sad that she was home alone while her ex-husband is marrying another woman in the same place they honeymooned. And then I got mad at my dad and his fiance or his wife, and I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you guys? Why would you do that? That's disgusting. Like, that is the worst thing you could do to somebody. You know what I mean? Because I just, I just wanted to feel for my mom. I wanted to ride out for my mom. And so I ended up confronting his wife at that celebration. And she's also, I don't know how many years of sobriety she has, but she is sober as well. And so we just started arguing. And I'm like, why did you guys do that? That's so fucked up, blah, blah, blah. I guess, they had some reasoning, some justification, I guess. My dad's wife's brother has, I don't know what those things are, timeshares or whatever, has something there, so they go there or whatever.
But you took it as malicious.
Yes.
I feel that.
And I'm drunk now, so now I'm angry. Now I'm more like emotional regulations. There's none of that.
Today where you sit, do you feel you were out of line?
I can admit I was out of line, for sure.
Okay.
It's still, a little hard for me to admit my wrongs, of course.
Amen.
But, yeah, there's a time and place, and, that was pretty selfish of me to, embarrass myself and my family like that. Yeah. And so it turned into, like, a heated argument, and so we had to get separated, and I ended up leaving or whatever. It was towards the end.
Fight her?
No. I
almost can feel you in your drunk years.
Oh, yeah.
I was just yelling.
I know her.
You were piped up.
I was like yelling and swearing, and it was getting loud. And where we had it was like a veteran like hall thing, whatever. My brother's in the military, so he got us to go there, and like just a bad look. It's a bad look for my family. And so, and that is still an amends I have yet to make.
Yeah.
I'm not ready yet.
Sure.
I'm not even on that step yet. Cool. You know what I mean? So that happened. And so at the time, I was living with my other sister. We were in the same apartment that we were living in with my mom. But since my mom passed, we had to redo the lease. So I wasn't put on the new lease because I don't have any fucking money. And so I was going out. And my sister was getting mad. She was getting mad I'm coming home drunk. She's getting mad that I have no money towards any of these bills. And she herself was mourning. So she kicked me out. So I went to go live with my other sister. And I tried to continue doing the same things that I was doing all these other years. So at this point, I got some money from my mom's life insurance and whatever. And I got a car. Great investment. It's paid off. I still have it, whatever. And I was driving to Boston from Providence or from Pawtucket, that's where I live, to go to the club, to go be with these people. I thought that was like my first moment where I'm like, okay, I'm going to get sober to make her happy. I don't even think I lasted a week.
Okay.
I ended up getting a 6-pack of Michelob Ultras because that was my mom's go-to. And I'm like, I'm just going to get this for her.
Sure.
Like, what the hell?
Yeah.
And then I ended up drinking them.
Yep.
And then that was that. And so, whatever, I moved in with my sister. I was kind of unemployed. I had, I was doing the bed rotting. I was so depressed, so, down bad. And just continuing to think, like, look forward to going out and getting fucked up. You know what I mean? And at this point, I didn't really have a community in Rhode Island because I'm going all the way to Boston to like make that work and continue to upkeep my social life over there rather than focusing on, building new friendships and finding new things to do in Rhode Island, which there's a lot. I actually love Rhode Island now.
Yeah.
And so there were a few times where I got some car trouble. There was one time, this was all last October. Last October was like where shit just got bad. And that's why my sobriety date is November 2nd, because November 1st, I was like still trying to chase that feeling and like, I made a lot of regretful things, whatever. So there was a Halloween party event thing at the club. I went. I brought this like little purse, like this big, and I put my ID, my keys, and like my lip combo in there. By the end of the night, all that shit was gone.
Yeah.
But I blacked out. So I woke up in the morning in the girl's house that I went out with in East Boston, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, what is going on? She's like giving me Pedialyte and some fruit. She was very nice about it. I know I scared her for sure. But she's like, yeah, you don't have your keys, like you don't have anything. And I'm like, what? I'm like, oh my God. But I knew at the time I had this like extra fragment of my key in my house. And my sister she crochets, she has a business. And so she's a vendor at the Salem Night Fair in October. So she was relying on me for a ride that day. So I'm like, all right, I'm just going to go home. I'm going to get a zip car. I got a zip car. Money, like $150. I'm going to get a zip car. I'm going to go home. I'm going to get this key. We're going to load up that zip car, go back to my car, and it's going to turn on and we're going to be good. I get to my car and it won't turn on. It won't fucking turn on. And at this point, my sister, she asked her sister-in-laws to like pick her up and take her, whatever. But at that point, I was just so like defeated. I was so like, oh my God, Serina, like what the fuck is wrong with you? Like you let your sister down that entire day. Like even though I was still drunk, I was just like so disappointed in myself for like failing my sister. I mean, she's my oldest sister. Like she's like always taking care of me. Like this one thing, and I can't fucking do it because I'm an idiot, right? So I'm like sitting there waiting for my car to get towed. And I have like people text me like, "You want to go out tonight?" And I'm considering it.
Of course.
I'm fucking considering it. And I'm violently hungover. And I still have to go to the night fair to show my support. And I'm like, what the fuck? I just think back to that. I'm like watching the stories and I'm like getting FOMO. Like, what the hell? So that happened. I ended up getting my car towed back to Providence, and like ended up being like a $600 repair, like something about my car computer. I don't know, whatever. They fixed it, and they gave me an extra key, like with like the clicker to unlock and lock, which I never had before. So it's like, oh my God, like you guys are so nice. I brought them like donuts. So,
way to find the positive in everything.
right. It's the little things. So that happened a couple weeks before Halloween. Then on Halloween itself, I was on Hinge at this point because, I'm alcoholic and I'm looking for any type of like instant gratification.
Yeah.
And if that's from a man, then I'm ready for it. I love it. And so I went out with this guy from Hinge. And he wasn't really drinking, but I had my own personal bottle of tequila. So I was taking shots before I left, and then I brought it with me, and I'm like, so, like, what's up? Let's take shots. He took maybe a couple, but he didn't even get drunk. And then we go to this club in Providence, and I'm getting mixed drinks, so it's like, it's catching up. Mm-hmm. I blacked out. And then, so since I didn't have my keys, because I lost them a couple weeks prior, I had my sister's key. And so I thought I lost her key or something. She had to let me in the house. She had to let me in the house because I was so drunk and forgot that I had a key. Mm. And then I dropped it on my rug in my room, and I couldn't see it, and I thought I lost it, and then that's where she lost her shit. Oh. She's like, Serina, are you fucking serious? Blah, blah, blah. Like, she starts, like, literally screaming at me in a way, like, that I've never, you know what I mean? Like, I was scared. I was like, fuck. I got to get my shit together. Like, Serina, what the fuck? Like, oh, my God. I found the key, and I'm like, okay, whatever, like, cool. I'm thinking it's going to be okay. And then that's where she hits me with, if you're going to live here, you're going to be sober. And I was like, oh, my God.
What was your first reaction?
For me, like, honestly, I feel like I kind of had the willingness, and I was like, you're right. Okay.
Oh, okay.
I was like, all right, okay. But I did still end up drinking that day.
Yeah.
I still had left some of that bottle.
Yep.
So I drank some of that bottle. And I had to meet my friend in Boston, the one that, introduced me to the program. And so I was going to meet her. I thought she still lived in the North End. And I pull up to the North End, and she's like, oh, my God, I sent you the wrong address. I'm actually in Jamaica Plain. And so I'm like, I'm like, all right, I'm stopping for an espresso martini first from Vittoria's. I love that place. They have good coffee. But I'm like, all right, whatever. And then, like, I did not know, like, that I was going to be walking into her house and, like, realizing that there was a solution.
Yeah.
Because she drank the same way that I drank. She went to the same high school as me. I used to be with her because she was older. She went to Amherst. She did all the same shit that I did. All the same things.
Same age as you? Or a little older?
She's a little older, a couple years older. And so, yeah, when I was there, she's just, basically reassuring me that you don't have to keep feeling this way.
Yeah.
Like, she was like it was a day before her 6-month sobriety. And she was like, come with me to this meeting tomorrow. Like, I'm celebrating 6 months. And I was like, all right, cool, I'll come. I got her flowers. Like, I showed up, and, like, there was a lot of young people because it was a young people group. And I'm like, this exists?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? When you think of, like, that stuff, you think of, like, old people, sure. Sketchy basement with, disgusting
scary
coffee.
Guy that's been sitting at the bar for 10 years.
Yeah, like, you don't think that there's going to be people my age in recovery. I didn't even, it never crossed my mind, right? So, thank God that I was presented with this solution so early. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I still drank that day. She told me, if you're going to live here, you're going to be sober.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So if I didn't, meet up with that friend and go to that meeting, like, who's to know where I would be right now?
Sure.
You know what I mean?
What was the feeling like leaving that meeting?
I honestly felt, the first fucking 11 months of meetings, like, I always left crying.
Yeah.
Sad, and honestly a little bit envious when I would hear the people share and people laughing and smiling that are doing good.
Yeah, you said that. Yeah.
I'm like, fuck you. Yeah. Like, that's fake. Yep. You're faking it. But the thing is, with that first year of recovery, like, it's painful. You got to get through those sad, you got to let the tears out. You got to let the pain out.
Sure.
It's not easy. Yeah. If it was easy, then everyone would be doing it, right. So
it's pretty cool that you had that that friend, that older role model that I'm sure, like, you had respect for already and looked up to. Mm-hmm. It sounds just like a blessing. If I put myself in that shoes, it'd be like you know, an odds or something, like if I was really struggling and that was her, like I would have a different feeling, I think, than like, you know, maybe like just your sister being like, you gotta go figure this out, or like not knowing where to turn. Like, what a blessing that someone you could look up to and be like, oh, that's cool. It's like it's a cooler thing, you know. And she's like, oh, you don't have to live like this, you know.
Yeah, I agree. Because like, so our father, alcoholic, 25 years sober. And he brought me to like my first meetings, and those meetings were packed with 50 plus everybody. And at 18, 19 years old, I was like, first impression of 12-step meetings, this looks fucking dismal.
Almost what you thought it was going to look like.
Exactly. It was the exact opposite of what your experience was. And so I was just like, I can't live the rest of my life coming here to talk to these older people.
Yeah, like they don't even know our lingo. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but for real. Yeah. And I was just like, I can't do this.
Yeah.
It's so interesting, too, because watching his journey, like, you know, I didn't know what the fuck I thought was right, but, like, obviously I was so invested in his addiction and recovery in my own space that I was just like, you know, the codependent me would be like, what can I do? Like, how is he going to fix this? Like, we need to find the right solution. This isn't the right solution kind of thing. And, you know, one of the biggest feelings that I knew was right in my heart was just like, he can't have these friends anymore. Like, he can't have the friends that we have.
Right.
Like, no one in his life can exist anymore. So I get how hard it must feel because, like, he needs a whole new friend group. Or, like, if I knew he was, like, on the wagon, like, feeling good for 2 months and sober, you know, but we were still in that age where you're still hanging out with some of these people. I'd like talk to them and I'd be like, hey, like, I know it's not your responsibility, but like Steve's doing well. So like, AKA hint, hint, like, can you be a better friend? Do you have to get fucked up around him? Because I knew that was the downfall. Like, I knew if he wasn't displaced from that environment and have healthy role models his age, how can you not feel like, you know, like that strength to be able to, you know, you just can't go right back into the party trying to be sober with the same people that you calling your friends, and they are, but it's just not the fucking same. So when he got this group of people this time around that he was like spending a lot of time with and people that were supporting him and all friends his age being sober, I'm like, oh my God, this is like, you know, there's a possibility here because he can go out, grab food, grab a drink, a coffee, whatever.
Right.
Go do an activity, go fucking bowling, go to a concert. Like, you need to have a support system, I think.
Yeah, and I think the camaraderie in meetings like that, along with finding some core people in your recovery to lean on, was 75% of what's kept me sober this time around. You know? And like my core group is 3 females, and like the stigma around that, with especially with AA, you know, women stay with the women, men stay with the men. The 4 of us, we went to an IOP, you know, and there was, you know, other people there that were also part of the group, but like, you know, it through life stuff, it dwindled down and stuff like that. But like those 3 like have been always there. But we went to an IOP, so like 5 days a week, we were in groups together. We were working out stuff for 6 hours a day, constantly every day.
Yeah.
And so like there's people in that group that know more about me than my family does.
Yep.
You know? And that was so comforting because we were at everybody's anniversary every month, every 2 months, you know? And it's like,
and like you said, to know the lingo, to be able to have these people be the ones that you can like bitch and bang to, not like necessarily, And
I've said it before, like there is nothing like meeting people, having friends in recovery that only know you,
Sober.
the good you.
Yeah.
The you are meant to be. The you working on your growth constantly to become a better you. They don't know that beforehand stuff. They don't know the dark, dirty bullshit that was you during use. And so that is so validating to just have people that can see you in the best way that you've presented yourself.
In this light. Yeah.
In this life.
The new light.
Yeah.
Yeah. Rather than having to work through all of those, not resentments, but what is it?
Sure.
What is it called when you...
Amends?
Amends.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, okay, I'm starting with a fresh slate. I don't have to have amends with these people here.
Yeah.
Like, that must feel really good.
Yeah, absolutely. So, what happened after that first meeting? Like, why did you keep going?
Well, here's the thing. So that was in Brookline, right near Boston, right? So I'm in Pawtucket. I'm like, I feel the magic after this one meeting. I'm like, there's young people. I can do it. I feel great. I feel heard. Like, it's so comforting to hear people talk about these things. And it's like, I'll be like, oh, yeah, I used to piss the bed all the time. And people in meetings will be like, yep, did that. Right? But you talk to a normie and they're like, whoa, what? You did that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I was already feeling like, okay, this is great. I love this, right? But it also was hard for me to start getting my foot in the door in Providence groups, right?
Sure.
I'm like, I don't know anybody. Like, oh my God, I need someone to hold my hand and walk in with me. Like, this is nerve-wracking. I started going, whatever, and like, I think I went to like one meeting last November, and I sat in the back. I saw people smiling and laughing, pissed me off, and I'm like, I didn't talk to anybody. I didn't get any numbers. I didn't do anything. Yeah. And so I didn't go back for a little bit. I kind of just tried to do the sober thing without any type of program. And last holiday season, I wasn't going to meetings, right? And it was my first holiday season without my mom. My mom's birthday's in December, Christmas, my birthday's in December. It's my first sober birthday.
Yeah.
New Year's, I still went to the club. I didn't drink. I was with people who were drinking, but I didn't drink. And the bottle girl was trying to give me a drink. And I'm like, no, I don't drink, whatever. I stayed strong.
Damn, good for you.
I know. Amazing. I went into that night because I saw on the flyer it was like free glass of champagne at midnight. And I went into that group at that meeting I went into the club that night and I'm like, I'll just have a glass of champagne. Yeah. But they didn't offer it. So I didn't have it.
Oh, thank God.
Wow.
Thank God, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, after all of those things, all those first birthday without my mom, first, you know, New Year's, first Christmas, first everything, right? I was down bad.
Heavy.
I wanted to kill myself.
Yeah.
I had no hope. I was working overnights at the time. So 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. Just horrible habits. I was sober, but I was not spiritually or emotionally sober. I was still acting like drunk Serina, but I wasn't drinking. And so at that point, I'm like, I want to kill myself. Like, I can't do this anymore. There would be so many times where I'd be driving, and the whole time, all I could think about was, who would be sad if I died? Who would be affected? Like, if I just got hit right here, if I, you know what I mean? Like, I wasn't necessarily doing anything to kill myself, but I was...
The thoughts were there.
The thoughts were there, sure. Like the idealization. And so I'm like, oh my God, I need to do something. So this is where I learned about like psychiatric hospitals, and I'm like, okay, let me give that a shot.
Yeah.
Let me give that a shot and see. And so I did an IOP, and I was there for like 5 or 6 days, every day, like you said, 6 hours a day, talking with these people. And I was like feeling this comfort. I never had a problem opening up and talking about my feelings because I never even knew how to regulate them to begin with.
Sure.
So I was like, oh my God, this is it. I got on antidepressants. You know, you don't feel them right away, clearly, but I'm like, okay, I'm doing the right things. I'm gonna, you know, make lists, I'm going to journal, I'm going to do all these mental health things, and I'm going to be okay. And it was okay for a little bit. And I completed that program, and I felt proud of myself. You know, those very, first, that 1 month, that 2 month, or any type of accomplishments that I was making at that point were huge to me. They felt bigger. Like, getting sober to me is bigger than even graduating college. Sure. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I do.
That worked for a little bit, but then that, you know, those thoughts and the spiritual hurting and everything was just coming back, and I'm like, oh my God. So I started going to meetings again.
Yeah.
And I started asking for numbers. I went up to my friend Carissa, and she is super bubbly. She is just amazing.
Yep.
And very welcoming to the newcomer and whatever. And I felt comfortable enough to talk to her. She's fairly young, you know what I mean?
Yep.
And so I got her number.
Me and her were in that same IOP.
Aw.
Like years ago.
Nice.
Yeah.
And so that's where it started. I started, and then people would tell me like, oh, check out this meeting and check this one out and blah, 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 blah. And then I was like, okay, like I started taking the suggestions, you know what I mean? I started going to women's groups, and I was like finding a lot of comfort, you know, in those too. I think it's very important in early sobriety to, you know, like you said, stick to the women stick to the women, men stick to the men. And so I eventually did get a sponsor, but it didn't work out, not because of like anything bad, but she was a registered nurse. She was very busy.
Yeah.
So she helped me in the time that she did. There was, you know, one time I remember specifically where I was like so done with the sobriety thing. I think might have been like 4 or 5 months. I pulled into a liquor store, like a parking lot, and I was determined to go in, and I kept hearing how people are like, oh, call somebody before you go in, call somebody before you drink that drink, right? So I'm like, all right, fine. So I called her, and I like, you know, it was a very vulnerable moment for me, and I cried because I wanted to go in so bad, but she, you know, you need those people in recovery to remind you, you know, to keep you in place, you know, because like, had I called anybody else, like, that's not in recovery, like, not to say that they would encourage me to go in, but they're not going to help me see as clearly as somebody who knows that I want to be sober and that I want to stay sober.
Absolutely.
Like, for sure. I remember there were many times. I remember I went into a bar one time because I was having problems. I live with my sister and her fiance, and so at the time, I was not fucking with her fiance. I was just very irritable and angry and miserable and fuck him and blah, blah, blah. And so I couldn't go home because I just didn't want to be around them. And I'm like, I went into a bar. And so before I went to sit down at the bar, because the host was like going to try to sit me, and I'm like, oh no, I'm sitting at the bar. I went to the bathroom, and I was like texting somebody, what should my drink be to like break my like sobriety? Like, should it be like a margarita? Like, what would be the most worthwhile, you know, drink? And, you know, the person I was texting wasn't necessarily in recovery. They actually, you know, are still out there. But they were like, bro, what? Like, I'm not going to answer that. You know what I mean? And so for me, like, I was just like embarrassed. And I'm like, damn, they have a point. Like, let me not do this right now. I opened, you know, that app, and I found a meeting, and I went.
Good for you.
And I shared during the Burning Desires. I mean, those Burning Desire moments that they set aside, I was sharing every single time. Yeah. Every time, because I still had the mental obsession, because I had no sense of how to regulate my emotions. Yeah. All I knew was to drink. And so then I kind of dropped that sponsor. I kind of flaked her, like never, like, you know, whatever. I've seen her since, and I'm like, you know, great to see you and whatnot. But the meetings, and I was doing the fellowship and stuff and everything, but it wasn't enough. It works for a little bit, and then it's not enough. And so at this point, I kind of unintentionally did something for myself. God did for me what I couldn't do for myself. And I kind of low-key asked a woman to be my sponsor. I just asked her, hey, like, do you know any readings or, you know, stuff? Because at this point, I'm like, all right, I put my faith into, like, the literature. So I'm like, do you know any readings I should read or anything? And she kind of took it as me asking to do some step work with her. And she was like, let me talk to my sponsor and see if I'm, if I can, help you out here.
Yeah.
And so she did. And so she was like, well, I'm very flattered. I will be your sponsor. And I'm like, oh, I didn't know that's what I was asking, but I was asking that. That's what I was asking.
Yeah, great.
And so I'm still working with her now. And
Awesome.
I'm on step 3 now.
Yeah, hell yeah.
And that's where I feel like you start to get better. I think early sobriety, the meetings and the fellowship is very important. And staying away from that first drink, it does its purpose for the time being, but it's not going to hold out long term. You need to work the steps. You need to work the steps. And every step that I've done, 1 and 2 so far, I swear to God, I'm feeling better. I'm maturing. It's I'm feeling like I'm growing now.
Yeah.
I'm not, I still struggle with my mental health, of course, but that's, something that I'm working on too. Yeah. Everything I'm able to work on now. I'm able to be present. I'm able to call myself out if I'm being snappy, or I'm able to, have these tools, make gratitude lists, or, check on somebody else in the program, or, you know what I mean? I know that there is a better quality of life and that I don't have to go back out.
Yeah. Yeah, I heard one of the best sayings I've ever heard in my fucking life. I went to a meeting down in Florida, and this guy, he was a pro. Speaking, he was amazing. But one of the things he said was, going to meetings and not doing the steps is like taking a shit in your pants and changing your shirt. Because you're going, the meetings get you to a place of some clarity and some little bit of peace and camaraderie with new, healthy people. Mm-hmm. But you're still carrying around this load of shit in your pants that you haven't changed yet. Mm. And you can't fix you with you.
Nope.
And so by doing the steps, it begins to give some internal clarity, some emotional regulation or emotional awareness to what your triggers are emotionally. Mm-hmm. Because your emotions are the ones that are going to bring you back to that drink.
Yep.
Your resentments are the ones that are going to bring you back to that drink. The hiding and in fear, that's what's going to bring you back to that drink. And all of these steps are designed so perfectly that each layer gives you another thing to feel free from. The resentments, the amends, the fears, the toxic traits that we carry, and then at the end, the constant search for internal growth and external growth. Mm-hmm. It amazes me how many people try so many times to get sober, resist the steps, finally do the steps, and have some long-term recovery. Mm. And people still think, oh, I don't need to do the steps.
Yeah.
Because they don't understand.
Yeah.
I've tried to get sober for 17 years. I did the steps when I was 2 weeks sober. Finished the steps when I was 4 months sober. Didn't finish them. I still do 10, 11, 12 every single day. Mm-hmm. Or try to. I'm not the best. I'm not perfect.
It's not a perfect program.
But only when I finish the steps, I receive long-term recovery. Mm. And solid fucking recovery. I don't want to put you on the spot, but do you want to talk about what you're doing right now?
Sure. I just had it in my head, too. When you talked earlier about the long game, it being a long game and being content with that, and then hearing commends again, because you're clearly such a warrior, and your strength is admirable, because I think sometimes my view, even initially, which I can change quickly, but a lot of people's view is it was easy for them, or how did you do that? Because you can't seem to understand how everybody's story is so different, right? So the struggle to get sober over and over and over again, that's hard to hear, I'm sure, in different ways. That at 24, you decided to do it, and you're at the bar and you decided to have the moment, and you're at the liquor store and you decided to have the moment. That is true strength. And I don't think it makes it easier than anybody else. It's just different, right? But it's really, it's such a testament when you guys talk about it to the long game, and this is an ever growing journey of growth for each of us, and to be on it is what I believe it is, right? So to keep checking yourself over and over and being like, I'm here again. This isn't working. Yeah. Okay, this is it. It's like, in general, it's just like the notion of there's no quick fix. There's no quick fix for anything in life.
Nope.
We think, I went to therapy for 6 months. I already did my work. I think, you know what I mean? It's like, well, you haven't started, clearly.
Yeah.
You know, it's
the
and that's surrender.
To keep figuring something else out.
That's what it is.
All right,
and
this isn't working.
Yeah,
I need more.
Yeah.
I need more.
Yeah.
And not just being like, this isn't working. Fuck it.
Yeah.
Which I've done so many times. Mm-hmm. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off,
Yeah.
but like, yeah, that pop when you were saying that, the resilience to pick up the fucking phone.
That's what it is, yeah. And I can resonate a lot with that part of your story. And I think that's where I have been for 10 plus years of my life. It's just been my own journey, and it's slowly, gradually grown and got worse, and been vicious cycles of growth and non-growth. So I am actually working the program as well. I have a sponsor, and as he calls it, I'm his second crazy bitch that he's worked with. So I'm technically, he's working with me through this 12 steps specifically for codependence and insanity, mental health. Now, I'm not a good drinker. I've had very bad times in drinking. I think it's hard for me to speak about because I have different views on it, I think, sometimes, and I'm sure other people do too. I know that a life without drinking is better. I'm not, you know what I mean? I'm working the program for the mental health stuff, but more and more apparent it comes like it all kind of just coincides with this emotional dysregulation and then using substances, which maybe my thought is like, well, I should be able to go out and have a social drink, but I never learned how to drink responsibly either. I have a very similar story as you. We grew up in the same group doing a lot of the same stuff. I've been fortunate enough that through the growth in my life, I have replaced that partying with other distractions, like overworking, codependency, trying to help and fix everybody else. So we're talking about very different types of addiction, but I'm not familiar with all of it. So right now I'm on the 6th step, character defects. So that's fun.
Love that.
To list it all out. But I've been going through it the past couple months. I've been going through it since about October.
You finished your 5th step?
Well, yes. I think it's a little bit of a different view, maybe.
Oh, okay.
Than for me, because it's funny. I said that to my sponsor. I'm like, but what about the 5th step? Like, I know I have to go and sit and tell every single thing that I maybe haven't even told myself. Yeah. Every secret to somebody, blah, blah, blah. And I was talking to my friend, Justine, who I work with as well, about it. And she's like, oh, is that going to be me? And I was like, nah, you got a lot going on in your life. Don't worry. I'm not going to put that shit on you. But I've met with my sponsor a few times, and we've really laid out some stuff. Cool. And so I think that's kind of the work that I'm doing with him. Yeah. Overall is this full admittance of all my shit to him. Yeah.
Now, so sorry to cut you off. Now, when she says him, he's a gay man who's helped many women in the past and helped many men. He's my sponsor also. Mm-hmm. And so, I don't want to get it misconstrued on camera. Men should always have men sponsors.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Women should always have women sponsors. Now, there are some outliers. My father got sober through a woman. Yeah. She was his sponsor for many years. Mm. Difference is, he was 37, she was 80-something. Mm. The sexual...
I see, because that's a thing that you say, don't even put the possibility there.
Well, yes, because
interesting, it's still the same in this day and age.
Yeah. I think,
I see, sometimes, like you said, they'll be gay, if it's that, or like you said, your dad, like it'll be like a huge age gap.
Yes.
Like if it's a woman that has a male sponsor, like he's an old timer.
Yeah.
So
I guess the standard is like the honesty there. Hey, we're the same age, different sex, which is what we both prefer. And there's obviously could be an attraction there.
Right.
Let's be honest and not do this.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
Okay, hey, this is never going to be there. That can work.
100%.
So it's kind of
100%.
to each his own.
I just wanted to preface that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, so...
And he's amazing, by the way. He's fucking...
Yeah.
He'll read you like a fucking book.
Oh, yeah, it's no joke. It's no joke.
oh
scary.
no, how much sobriety does he have?
18 years.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's fire.
Yeah, so it's interesting. We were definitely meant to come together and
you
do
probably
this
seen
work.
him a couple weeks ago. I had him share. With the white hair.
I loved him.
Yeah.
I loved him.
Yeah.
He's so
yeah, he's
cool.
hot shit, man.
Yeah.
It's hot shit.
So
Sorry.
it's a struggle for sure. I have hit what I feel like is the same loop over and over. Like, okay, I'm back here. I'm back in this terrible, depressed, hopeless place. And that's happened to me a few times because of different circumstances, external, internal, all of it. And this time Steve was just like, hey, like I told you, you know, I think you should go through the 12 steps. Like it's great for anybody. And it's funny because I've been on top of my self-work, and when something doesn't work, I'm trying something else. And I'm kind of hyper vigilant with it because you start to know and see the growth in your life. And that's like, I don't want to say addicted, but I prioritize it because I know that if I have the opportunity to get better and I'm not taking that chance, I get worse. So it's like, my life goal is to be the best version of myself, and to be able to live a wholesome, peaceful life. And I don't think that that's like really so accessible to us, you know, so you have to do that extra work to really get there. But yeah, I won't get into specifics right now about like why I really am honed in on doing all of this work. But I will say that the shit that has broken open in the first few steps, and like, you know, just kind of seeing that like laid out, all those resentments and all of when you see it and it's kind of in your awareness as this like timeline, and you can like start to track and connect all of the reasons why, oh yeah, well that makes sense why I act like that, or that, you know, the patterns. Yeah, it hurts. It's beyond painful on top of all the other stuff. So that's where I'm at.
Yeah.
But I don't think people really understand, like you said, you know, you didn't even know that this existed. You didn't know there's communities out there like this. You didn't know that there were people our age like doing such positive work for free together. It's like we're always looking for the next thing or the next thrill or the next like connection with somebody, and like it's so important for people to know that this kind of community is out there in many different facets. You know, I started going, I've only been to one Al-Anon meeting, but I've done numerous online, and like just knowing that community is there, it's like, oh, I could have used this a really long fucking time ago. And there's not one thing that's the end all be all. It's just like the involvement with yourself and others is super important. And so, yeah, very grateful. And obviously being on the podcast with Steve, like meeting more and more people, it's just like making me grow into a better person. So I don't know. What'd you just say, Aster?
Yeah, no,
Okay.
I love it. Yeah. Well, it's just like, so yeah, it's this, when we were talking about the steps, you know, people who aren't alcoholics and addicts can use these steps in their daily life also to grow. And unfortunately, it's not something that's like on their radar. People that haven't gone to 12-step meetings, they don't understand what this 12-step process is. And I think therapists should be using this for anybody that comes in, you know, because this is a cleaning house thing.
Yeah.
You know, you can't just listen to somebody's story and be like, okay, well, you did this wrong, that wrong, that wrong, that wrong. You're an idiot. Try this next time. Like, there needs to be some sort of process of breaking shit open, finding out what's at the cause of it, because your drinking isn't the problem. My drinking and drug addiction wasn't the problem. It was the way I felt that led me to that solution, you know? And what leads me back to that solution is still the problem, which is my thinking, my emotions, my irregular, you know, trying to adjust how I feel, trying to get outside of my body because I hate the way I feel. Any of these things, not feeling good enough, always feeling self-conscious, like all of these things attributed to the real problem. Drugs and alcohol brought me to fucking destruction, but like I bring myself to that solution. And so the 12 steps have been the only thing that gives me a different perspective on life. Gives me a different perspective of me. You know, how am I the problem? How do I make things worse than they need to be? You know, and my perception is fucking everything today. And that's why I think when we talked about earlier about, you know, you asked me about, you know, kind of the dopamine thing and, you know, what can be different this time. It's just like, I have a different perception of who I am first. I don't hold a lot of guilt, shame, and disrespect for myself anymore, you know? And I think the love thing is huge. You know, I have some love today for myself to give myself a little grace. You know, how did it feel getting a 1-year chip? How did it feel like getting there?
Honestly, like, it felt unreal. Like, you know, I was, those other 11 months, like, I was, you know, I knew I was in the right place when I was going to meetings, and I knew, like, it's clear to me, like, I can't drink normally. Like, I have a problem, and that's that. And so when I finally reached that, you know, 1-year mark, and for me, like, I felt just astonished, like, in disbelief, but also just, like, I felt this readiness to take this commitment to spread the message and to help the newcomer as much as I was helped when I walked in the doors. You know, like, you don't have to do it alone. And I would love to, like, continue adding to that. And, like, it's just, you know I have a lot more to learn and, like, stuff like that. But, like, the fact that I'm in this community now and the fact that, like, you know, I made it to, like, 13 months now, like, I'm just like, holy shit, like, wow. And I'm just fucking excited to just keep going. I mean,
Awesome.
I'm, like, my sponsor had told me to read, like, step 3 in the 12 and 12, and, like, I was like, yeah, I'll do that. And then I'm gonna work on, because we do questions for, like, all of them, and I'm like, I'm gonna do this, and now I just can't wait to get to step 4. She's like, all right, it's not a race. It's like, I'm so freaking passionate about this shit now. Like, I'm like, I love it. I love talking about it. And, like, you know, like you guys were saying, like, I feel like everybody should be doing the steps. Like, they help you grow as a person.
What a better world it would be, right?
Like, recovery is, like, it's great to, like, get out of, like, those addictions, but it's also great to, like, become a responsible, well-sound, like, adult who's able to handle these things. You know, I grew up with parents, you know, like I said, one was sober, one wasn't, but they still had their problems. Like, I'm still trying to break, you know, generational, like, things. Like,
it's real.
Sure.
It is real.
like, and now that I'm in this program, like, I'm able to, hopefully, God willing, and I just keep coming.
Awesome.
You're awesome.
Yeah.
Congrats.
Thank
Seriously.
you.
Yeah, Serina, thank you for coming on. Also, thank you for, you know, sharing your experience, strength, and hope for you. I give such admiration to you, a woman who came in, wanted to find a solution for the things going on in her life, but also fucking stuck through it. Finding more that can be done to reach the goal of more progress, more internal search, like more internal validation, more love for yourself. You know, I think that's the end goal of always staying vigilant in finding the love for ourselves. And it's so hard at times, but you use the tools by picking up your phone, going to a meeting, like all of these things contribute to where you are today at 13 months sober. And it sounds like so much, but like it isn't once you get into this groove of feeling better and feeling like you're on the right track. It's like, it's contagious.
And when you're with the people who are on the same journey,
Yeah.
it's like you just get inspired.
Sure.
Like you inspire me.
Oh,
I mean, the both of you. Like, thank you both.
Same.
Thank you both for having me, and it's been great just getting to know you both. Really.
Yeah.
Yeah, same. Thank you to both of you too. Also coming up on your year and you just celebrating a year, like not that like my 2 cents really matter, but I want to let you know, like, people doing the work that you two are doing and instilling that passion and drive forward to spread that awareness and love and just goodness and get out of the badness and share that goodness, like, that is honestly changing this world, and you're changing people's lives. And like on your toughest day or struggle, like, just to know that you are truly the stuff of life that like most of this life and most of the people in it are missing, like, it makes you pretty fucking special and chosen. And I believe that wholeheartedly. So like, that's pretty dope. When you think about all the hardship and the struggles that you go through, it's like, I don't know. I want you both to just think like, I'm chosen one. I gotta keep doing this because it really feels like that to me. My perspective is truly that.
Yeah. Yeah. And just think about all the women you're going to be able to help in the future. All women that come in at 21, 22, 23, 24, and just like, how am I going to have fun anymore? How am I going to fucking make this work? And you're going to be there and be able to guide them and show them the way. And that's fucking the most special. You'll be able to change people's lives.
I know. When I hear, like women in their 30s or 40s and they have like already a decade of sobriety, I'm like, okay. I take a deep breath. I'm like, all right, like they did it, like I can do it.
Absolutely.
Right.
And so, an old timer told me that recently, or not recently, but when I was like sharing about like, like I keep watching people's stories and they're drinking, like, why can't I? Why can't I? She's like, you keep coming because one day they're going to come in and you're going to have long-term sobriety. Yep. And that's just the beautiful part of this program.
Absolutely.
It's just always welcoming that newcomer and letting them know that there's better quality of life, you know?
Yeah, it's amazing. And one thing I love about this program, but also this podcast, us three would have never met if it wasn't for us being alcoholics and addicts. And then choosing recovery outside of the use, finding a cure or finding a solution. We never would have met. I never would have met the last 30 people we've had on.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And that's amazing, to hear so many people, the resilience and stuff like that. So thank you so much for coming on, Serina.
Yes,
Thanks for having me, guys.
All right. Thanks, guys.